morning. I'm Kenneth Moak.
And I'm Janae Norman. Here are the top 5 things to know this Friday. Number 1, the race for 2020.
Billionaire Michael Bloomberg is taking a major step toward a possible run for president. He's filing paperwork today to meet a deadline in one state's primary.
Elizabeth Warren responded, saying the election cannot be bought. Number 2, acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney is expected to be a no-show on Capitol Hill today.
He was subpoenaed by the House Intelligence Committee to answer questions in the impeachment investigation. A senior advisor to Mulvaney also refused to testify this week. On to number 3, a jury has convicted a Texas man who said he was sleepwalking when he shot his wife.
Raymond Lazarine claimed his actions were involuntary because of a medical condition that causes him to sleepwalk. But jurors didn't buy it. They convicted him of murder. He could now face life in prison. Number 4, e-cigarette maker Juul is halting sales of its popular mint-flavored products.
The company is facing intense scrutiny as the vaping health crisis grows. A survey found mint-flavored products are the top choice among teenagers. And finally, number 5, the race to catch America's favorite feline.
You may remember a black cat interrupted Monday Night Football running across the field during the Giants game, and now MetLife Stadium says that cat is still on the loose.
Several traps have been set. Stadium officials are hoping to catch the cat before this Sunday's game.
Ooh, will they have good luck or bad luck?
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh.
Good morning, everyone.
Good Friday morning.
Friday, the weekend is here.
Thank goodness.
I'm off.
Oh, wait, I'm not.
Janae's not.
But I don't come in overnight hours, so
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
true.
as bad.
So
I'm going to get some sleep.
make sure you watch her on Weekend GMA.
Yeah.
And the whole team.
2 hours on
Good crew of
Saturdays.
folks there.
All right. Well, we will get to lots of news today. Let's get right to it. A judge in New York has ordered President Trump to pay $2 million for, quote, misusing his charitable foundation.
It's part of a settlement from a lawsuit accusing Trump of using the charity's funds to pay his personal expenses. And Trump now admits that nearly $3 million raised for veterans in 2016 actually went into his campaign coffers ahead of the Iowa caucuses.
Trump calls the lawsuit, quote, politically motivated harassment, but he has agreed to pay the fine.
And an attorney for the whistleblower whose complaint sparked the impeachment inquiry is demanding that President Trump stop calling for the whistleblower to be identified. And a cease and desist letter to the White House counsel's office. The lawyer says the president's rhetoric and actions are putting the whistleblower and their family in danger. The letter also says if any harm is done to the whistleblower or their family, the president will be directly responsible. The president's son, Donald Trump Jr., defended his tweet of a story including the whistleblower's name on ABC's The View.
I literally quote tweeted an article that had the guy's name in the title of the article, and for days he's been out there in the media.
But does that make it right?
So what's the difference between me tweeting about it?
It's different when the president's son does it, though, isn't it?
Why? I mean, I'm a private citizen putting this out there. If everyone in this room could have read this, I don't see any difference whatsoever. View on this, it seems to me.
Trump Jr. also said he understands his father is controversial and that he's offended a lot of people.
And we're getting our first look at the new book about the Trump administration called A Warning. The author is identified only as a senior administration official. According to the Washington Post, the book details a plan by several White House officials last year to resign in what they called a midnight self-massacre to protest President Trump's fitness for office. But they reportedly scrapped the idea because it would cause too much chaos. The author goes on to describe the president, quote, like a 12-year-old in an air traffic control tower pushing the buttons of government indiscriminately, indifferent to the plane skidding across the runway. The White House has called the author a coward and says the book is, quote, a work of fiction.
Now for more on that big story this morning, the bombshell in the race for president.
Former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg is taking a major new step toward entering the race. He's expected to file paperwork ahead of a deadline today, and overnight the other candidates are already responding.
The big question now is, what impact could Bloomberg have on this race? ABC's Andrea Fajii has more. Andrea, good morning.
Good morning, Kenneth and Janae. Michael Bloomberg has not confirmed he's running. However, ABC News has learned that today he will file to run in at least one state's presidential primary. Aides say he is keeping his options open. Meanwhile, experts say it's a sign he's not happy with the current Democratic field.
This morning, former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg sending a jolt through the presidential race. ABC News has confirmed the billionaire plans to file paperwork today to put his name on the Democratic primary ballot in Alabama just before an approaching deadline.
This is the biggest step yet that he has made toward becoming a candidate.
Bloomberg, an outspoken critic of President Trump, spoke to MSNBC in August, questioning the strength of the Democratic candidates.
I think a lot of the pandering and some of the more liberal things that are it's really not practical. The economics wouldn't work. The public wouldn't want it. The public does not want revolutionary change. It wants evolutionary change.
Overnight, a top Bloomberg advisor tweeted in part, "We now need to finish the job and ensure that Trump is defeated." But Mike is increasingly concerned that the current field of candidates is not well positioned to do that. If Mike runs, he would offer a new choice to Democrats. Originally a lifelong Democrat, Bloomberg has changed party affiliations over the years, running for New York City mayor in 2001 as a Republican, then becoming an independent, but last year re-registered as a Democrat.
There are a number of moderates in this race already that are trying to position themselves as an alternative to those progressives. So he could just add another name to that pile and really divide up that vote.
Both Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren have made an issue of going after billionaires like Bloomberg with a wealth tax and inheritance tax.
It's not enough just to have somebody come in, anybody, and say they're going to buy this election.
Though this is relatively late in the game, the latest ABC News Washington Post poll found that 50% of Democratic primary voters said while they might favor someone, they were willing to switch their opinion later. Janae.
All right, we've still got just under 365 days to go before you got to make up your mind. Andrea, thank you for joining us this morning.
And it's official, Jeff Sessions is running for his old Senate seat in Alabama. The former attorney general joins a crowded primary field. Sessions spoke highly of his former boss, President Trump. He later said that he was honored to serve as attorney general. Sessions was the first senator to endorse Trump's presidential campaign, but they had a rocky relationship.
When I left President Trump's cabinet, did I write a tell-all book? No. Did I go on CNN and attack the president? Nope. Have I said a cross word about our president? Not one time. And I'll tell you why. First, that would be dishonorable. I was there to serve his agenda, not mine. Second, the president's doing a great job for America and Alabama, and he has my strong support.
Sessions plans to file his candidacy today. He's looking to unseat Democrat Doug Jones. Jones is considered one of the most vulnerable senators up for re-election next year.
Moving on now to the tears and heartbreak in Mexico as victims of the highway ambush are laid to rest. Hundreds turned out for the services in this tight-knit community. Security was also tight. Authorities are still searching for the gunman. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez has more.
Hundreds in tears at the first funeral for members of an American family murdered in Mexico. Donna Ray Langford and her two young sons' caskets carried out of the service. Her oldest son in that burgundy shirt serving as a pallbearer after heroically walking 14 miles to get help for his family after the attack. Relatives sharing new video of the aftermath of that massacre.
Look at the shot down on it from the top.
And now questioning whether all 9 victims were targeted by a drug cartel. The family caravanning to Kendra Miller's wedding Monday when they were ambushed. The bride-to-be telling ABC's Tom Yamas she believes the 3 women and 6 children were gunned down to spark a new battle in an ongoing war between drug gangs.
So you're saying your family was used as pawns?
Yes. The Chihuahua cartel used our 3 women and all the children as a provocation to start a war between them and the Sonora.
Military and police now guarding the family's Mormon compound in northwest Mexico as they try to track down the killers. And still, no suspects have been named, and Mexican officials maintain their belief that drug traffickers likely mistook the family for rivals because of the type of vehicles they were traveling in. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Now to the people rebuilding Paradise on the anniversary of the most destructive wildfire in California's history. The campfire raced through the town of Paradise 1 year ago today. Most of the 14,000 homes have not been rebuilt. Crews have removed nearly 4 million tons of debris, twice the amount that was removed from the World Trade Center site after 9/11. One woman and her family decided to return to the area. They're now living in a motorhome.
Anytime you're faced with a tragedy, what are your choices? You either get up and move forward or you just completely give up. And I think for the town of Paradise and for all of us that lived here, we couldn't give up. This is our home.
Local officials are asking people to pause for 85 seconds beginning at 11:08 this morning, 1 second for every person who died in that fire last year.
Now to a star athlete's explosive new claims about Nike. Mary Kane says the company's training program for elite runners forced her to lose weight and nearly drove her to suicide. Now Nike is responding. Overnight, Nike firing back, denying serious allegations from a champion runner once dubbed the fastest girl in America.
I was emotionally and physically abused by a system.
At just 17 years old, Mary Kane was blowing away the competition, winning a gold medal at the 2014 World Junior Championships and 2 national titles.
Mary Kane, there are women here almost twice her age, being left in her wake.
She became the youngest American track athlete to make a World Championships team and was signed with Nike's famed training program called the Oregon Project. But now, Kane is coming forward, claiming the program's coach, Alberto Salazar, and other staffers physically and emotionally abused her.
I was weighed in front of teammates. I was told during practices that I was clearly 5 pounds too heavy.
Kane claims coaches constantly told her to lose weight, causing her physical and mental health to deteriorate. She says because of the alleged treatment, she suffered 5 broken bones, didn't have a period for 3 years, and had suicidal thoughts.
I usually cut my legs because I hated them for not running faster, for not doing better.
Nike shut down its Oregon project last month after the U.S. doping agency suspended Coach Salazar, saying an investigation found multiple anti-doping rule violations. This morning, Nike is denying Kane's allegations, saying these are deeply troubling allegations which have not been raised by Mary or her parents before, adding Mary was seeking to rejoin the Oregon project and Alberto's team as recently as April of this year and had not raised these concerns as part of that process. Kane says she is still training and hopes to make the Olympics in Tokyo next summer.
The woman who climbed into a lion enclosure in New York's Bronx Zoo now faces criminal charges. Maya Altry surrendered to police late Wednesday, hours after posting on Instagram how police could find her. A social media post in late September showed Altry taunting a lion with the animal just feet away. She's charged with criminal trespass.
Coming up, another hint about a presidential run, this time from Kanye West. See what he's saying.
But first, a new exhibit here in New York gives a look inside the hunt for Osama bin Laden. More after this.
Welcome back. It's now being called the greatest manhunt in American history, the hunt for Osama bin Laden. And next week, an exhibit by that name is opening at the 9/11 Museum here in New York that focuses both on bin Laden's trackdown and assassination, as well as artifacts from his former compound. Here's WABC's Dave Evans.
At the 9/11 Memorial and Museum, a new exhibit opens next week. It's called The Hunt for Osama bin Laden. And if the bright yellow displays look kind of like crime tape, it's for good reason.
So for us, this was really a crime story, a horrific crime at a huge scale and over an enormous amount of time. But at its heart, we thought of it still as a crime story.
The exhibit includes the first public display of the model of bin Laden's compound, a vest worn by Cairo the dog, who went on the raid May 1st, 2011, and plenty of FBI Most Wanted posters. One of the most poignant artifacts in this exhibit is this photograph taken by Gordon and Kathleen Haberman right after 9/11. Their daughter had died in the attacks, and they came to the city to search for her. They took this picture of a dumpster, and on it scribbled, "Bin Laden must die." They hung the photograph in their living room in Wisconsin for almost 10 years. They took it down when he was killed. This exhibit is a detective story, but it's also emotional. A story of determination and perseverance that lasted 9 years and 232 days. This brick from bin Laden's compound, a symbol that America will never forget 9/11.
That this was not just a mission. This was a promise being kept. And everyone involved felt that sense of responsibility to keep the promise.
The exhibit also includes a lot on how we got bin Laden, the announcement by President Obama, and how we celebrate it in the streets. It all meant so much to Patricia Riley. She lost her sister, Lorraine, on 9/11.
But on the day that I was watching the news and it said that we had killed Osama bin Laden, I was so gratified that finally there was justice for the people who were killed on 9/11, including my sister.
The exhibit opens November 15th in Lower Manhattan. Dave Evans, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
Our thanks to WABC's Dave Evans for that report. Well, let's check our notifications now, starting with this dad going above and beyond for his daughter, doing her cheerleading routine along with her from the stands.
He does the whole opening cheer, thigh slaps. He's got the enthusiasm, the hand claps, the looks. He is ready.
You know, we often talk about the pride a father has for his son. When it comes to dads and daughters, there's nothing like it.
He was jazzed up. Now to the hottest chicken sandwich in the game, or is it?
Whoa.
One YouTuber thinks he's got Popeye's beat.
Yeah, he makes his own there and says that his looks better. Got a little sauce, some pickles.
A lot of love into
the
it.
pickles are bigger. I wouldn't do those large pickles. And then he's got a nice buttermilk fried chicken right there on a brioche bun.
But imagine if Popeyes took that long to put together each
Oh,
sandwich.
no, I know. That's why the lines are already long, and they're slapping that together.
Yuck. Next to the major revelations from Kanye West.
The rapper and fashion designer was here in New York City talking up his clothing line, launching a shoe made of algae, bringing his clothing manufacturing jobs back to America, and a possible run for the White House.
When I run for president in 2024, we're going to definitely know what y'all laughing at. When I run for president in 2024, we would have created so many jobs that I'm not going to run, I'm going to walk.
You know, I can't help but really appreciate that moment when everyone thought he was joking, and he very quickly made it clear he was not, and they stopped laughing immediately. We'll see, Kanye. Next, did you send a text message last Valentine's Day that didn't reach its mark? Well, it may have been delivered this week.
More than 168,000 texts sent February 14th finally arrived on Wednesday. A tech firm blames the glitch on an internal maintenance cycle. The delay affected both Apple and Android devices and all 4 major U.S. carriers. One expert said Valentine's Day messages were likely affected because the number of texts that day is abnormally high.
So you'll get the Happy Thanksgiving text by Easter.
In 2020.
And that's our question of the day. Did you get a text meant for Valentine's Day? Did it cause any problems? Tell us your story in the comments or tweet us at ABC News Live.
Was it from an ex? Was it from a loved one who's no longer with us? I'm sorry, I mean, this facts, truth. It's real life. Let us know. We still want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Because it could have been a message they really liked getting.
You're right, it could have been.
And also a message you did not like getting. And a Wisconsin man had something foul in his car. Foul. When he was pulled over for an erratic driving.
Police outside Milwaukee say a suspected drunk driver had a chicken with him in his car.
What?
There it is. Investigators also found a bunch of open beer cans. The driver, that chicken was in a car seat. The driver is charged with DWI. The chicken is in the custody of animal control.
Chicken there with a seatbelt on.
Moving on now. If anyone has taught us that what doesn't kill us, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, it's survival expert Bear Grylls.
From eating the eye of a yak to sleeping inside a dead camel, Grylls is gearing up for another exciting season on Nat Geo. ABC's Will Carr caught up with him.
For more than a decade, he's taken his fans along on his absurd adventures with hit shows like Man vs. Wild and Running Wild with Bear Grylls.
Okay, holding on, okay?
If you think back on everything you've eaten over the years, is there something that really sticks out to you?
That's a long list of bad things, you know, from camel intestinal fluids to raw goat's testicles. I think the lesson for me is that, you know, survival food's not going to be pretty. It's energy, it's fuel. Come on.
Now on Nat Geo, Running Wild with Bear Grylls is entering its 5th season, pushing the limits of what we think our favorite Hollywood stars can
This is terrifying.
and can't do.
Can I just stay here?
Oh, it's a long way down.
I want you to see what I just saw. Did you see that? No.
For those like me who prefer the practice of the art of armchair survival,
So close.
all of this
What was that? I don't know, but that boulder definitely moved under your feet.
might seem a bit extreme. But for Bear Grylls, it's in his DNA. Growing up in England, Bear's love for the outdoors first came from bonding trips with his father, Michael.
My dad's no longer around now. I've got 3 young boys. It's a great privilege as being able to show them how to manage themselves in situations in the outdoors.
Those survival skills sharpened to a point by the military. But at the peak of his military career, a tragic parachuting accident cut his service short.
Broke my back in 3 different places.
Down, but not out. Bear attacked his injury head-on. Just 18 months after a skydiving accident, he became one of the youngest people ever to summit Mount Everest.
Everest became a really symbolic thing for me of I'm going to get strong again. I'm going to learn how to walk again. I'm going to learn how to climb again and run again. And eventually I'm going to try and stand on top of the world. And on the back of that, the TV door opened. I'm Bear Grylls.
His first major U.S. show, Discovery's Man vs. Wild, ran for 5 seasons. It launched Bear as the go-to television adventurer for the millennial generation. Adventure mixed with those moments that make you oh so gloriously uncomfortable. Bear's gut-wrenching feats of gastronomy quickly became legend.
Where do you get the confidence to eat those things and not worry about it having a negative impact on your health?
Through failure, many times where I've got it wrong and things, I've ended up sick and, I've looked back over the years on the many, the episodes these have done all over the place, and often it's gone wrong and I've ended up hanging off a rock face with diarrhea and, and the camera's still rolling. It's fine, and I've never minded the mistakes.
You squeezed his heart out.
Listen, that's many things, but that's not a heart.
Okay, great.
But I think as I've got older, I've got smarter, and just stay away from that one and never get complacent is the other thing, because it's always the little things that come and trip you up.
Sorry, Mom.
We're not looking down.
Oh, no. We would never look down.
Now, after more than a decade on television,
I can't.
1, 2.
Bear is back to his usual ways once again. I'm Will Carr in New York.
All right, Bear Grylls got another season. Nat Geo. Thanks, Will.
Couldn't be me. Coming up, we'll tell you what to watch out for as we head into the weekend.
Including the biggest game of the college football season so far, and why even Capitol Hill is buzzing over the rivalry. After this.
Here's Judy, and he's able to break a tackle, and he's heading in.
Here's what to watch out for today. President Trump is scheduled to participate in a Black Voices for Trump coalition launch.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is set to speak at an event in Berlin commemorating the 30th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall.
Swedish teen climate activist Greta Thunberg says she plans to attend a youth-led climate strike in North Carolina.
And Big Bird will participate in the ceremonial lighting of the Empire State Building in celebration of Sesame Street's 50th anniversary.
5-0.
Yeah. Plus, don't forget to tune into the debrief for an update on all our top stories and the briefing room for a breakdown of the latest headlines in politics. And the biggest game on this weekend's college football schedule is also a big deal in Capitol Hill.
LSU visits Alabama tomorrow afternoon in Tuscaloosa. President Trump will be in the Bryant-Denny Stadium to watch the Tigers and the Crimson Tide, who sit 2nd and 3rd in the college football playoff rankings. The game has also sparked some congressional wagering. Senators Richard Shelby of Alabama and John Kennedy of Louisiana are putting some cash and their taste buds on the line.
The president's coming, and it's a big game. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm a little biased.
The senator and I have a bet. Now, he's the chairman of appropriations. After LSU wins and I win the bet, I'm still going to pay off because he's the chairman here. I am betting as much extra spicy Popeyes fried chicken as the senator can eat. Popeyes fried chicken is among the best fried chicken God ever put breath in.
Louisiana's kitchen. Senator Kennedy said the president isn't taking sides in the matchup. He's just hoping for a good game.
Wait, whose breath is in the Popeyes chicken?
He said God's breath is put into the chicken.
I don't want anyone's breath on any of my food.
Not even the Lord.
None.
So we'll see who wins that matchup. They're undefeated. But not after this weekend. The person who produces this show, It's Morning America, is a big old Bama fan.
Big old Bama fan. Oh, God.
There he is. And on that note, everyone, Goats Tigers.
Have a good weekend.
See ya. Don't forget to watch her on Weekend GMA. Will you be there?
Yeah.
You should be there.